Alrighty, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh man, we have a lot to talk about today. Give me a quick mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Smash the likes. And do remember that we can be taking all coin requests at the beginning of the live stream. Hey Shandy, how's it going? Good morning, right back at you, man. Good morning, Carl. Wolvie's in here too. We got Zinmei. Where's Stan? Stan, there you are. My man. He was the first in the chat. And of course, we got the beautiful, the gorgeous, the one and only Aphrodite, Krisha herself. Let's yeah, I'm gonna start doing these streams earlier and earlier and earlier. I'm kind of phasing you guys into it, so you're gonna have to start waking up even earlier, wolves. Hey, we got both the stands in here. Alright, you know what, guys? I'm just gonna let's just start the stream. I'm gonna set up the charts while I talk to you guys. Chauvin, holy crap, the guy's still alive. My God. Alrighty, guys. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Sean Dexter, and I welcome you back to another Mango live stream. I've been pretty consistent on these weekly live streams. Unlike Chauvin, who's never freaking consistent, ever, since the history of me knowing him, but he's also my favorite Mongolian, so my favorite seedling. Okay, there we go. Krisha got the dough. And We should see her in the chat soon. He's like, yeah, that is so true. I hope you're being consistent on your freaking trades at the very least, man. All right, guys, could we do a quick mic check? I'm gonna to respect the folk that don't like the music. I'm gonna turn down the music like a lot. Or should I just get rid of it? I'm gonna be playing it for myself. Hope you guys don't mind. we need consensus on whether or not the community enjoys the music or not. Wolfie says music all the way. Okay, most people seem to like the music, so... But then again, it's folk that watch it after, right? Okay, so what I think is happening is the post-processing of the live streams makes the audio all like messed up. So the music ends up being louder or something. I'm not sure what goes on. Okay, I'm just gonna turn it up. Is this good? Interesting. All right, so guys, we're going to do a quick recap to begin today's live stream from last week's live stream, because there is a follow-up. Because if you guys do remember, we had a great freaking trade last week. And I'm seeing some signs this time the trade isn't as like easy as last time. Like last time's trade was just too easy. It was like screaming at us. I did a follow-up after the live stream too in a daily video highlighting the trigger of the trade. But this time, there's some interesting things going on in the chart over here. Really interesting, where Wolfie's thesis is beginning to becoming more and more reasonable, more and more plausible. And if you guys are aware of Wolfie's targets, holy crap. So, one of two things is happening. Bitcoin is setting up for massive disappointment, or Bitcoin is setting up for massive upside shock, where you're going to see pain. You're going to see upside pain for everyone. Everyone is going to... The biggest of the bulls are going to be in agony as well, because they're going to be like, God damn, why didn't I buy more? I should have bought more. So we're going to see pain. Bitcoin is setting up for that, one way or the other, downside or upside. So just get ready for pain, guys. Just get ready for pain. The only person who is going to be not feeling the pain because he's positioned for it is Wolfie. He literally caught the bottom too. So good stuff, Wolves. Bitcoin on the 1 hour over here. I mean, you guys know 1 hour for the most part. You don't want to trade it unless you're like getting in, getting out quickly, and you have the time for that. It's looking good here though, right? Like I like to see this kind of price action to start off the Monday, but we want to see how this 12-hour candle closes. Before we do that, as is customary at Mango now, we are going to take any requests for altcoins now at the beginning of the live stream. So that way, I don't have to be constantly doing requests at the end, right? Because they never stop. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up here. My drawing pad. Where's my pen? My pen. So let's try to avoid some of the altcoins that we did last stream, which is of course Doge and Ladies, right? I'll give you guys an update on my SPX trade since I'm in this trade. We will do a XRP. I don't think we need to do Sol. and we'll do SUI, okay? And we're not going to do H bar. So this was from last week's live stream, right? And if you guys missed last week's live stream, it was a educational masterclass. Really recommend you guys watch it. So today, we'll go check out XRP. I haven't looked at it, so we'll take a look at it. I mean, I haven't looked at it this week. Week just opened. SUI. What else? You guys really want to do hype? Krisha's doing daily videos on hype, right? It's it's up. It's going up. You guys want to do ADA? Could someone okay. Ajesh will probably be able to help us with the timestamps, but just in case, because if we do too many altcoins, I want people to be able to have the timestamps at the end of the stream, right, for these coins. And AAVE. AAVE? Okay. All right. All right, so we got 3 digits asking for AVAX Opium. All right, and thank you for the super chat thingy as well. All right, that's it, guys. I can't. I'll be here all day. We'll stop here. Let's see. Krisha's done a Tao daily, so you guys should check that out. And we could do a follow-up next live stream too. All right, now let's just jump into the Bitcoin analysis. We have a lot to talk about in regards to Bitcoin. And again, one final check for everyone. Mike is A-OK or not? Just give me a thumbs up if it is. All right, Nick says it's A-OK. Can I get a couple more confirmations? Ariza says good too. Okay, Shandy said, all right, cool, awesome, let's go. So Bitcoin, WANA, looking really, really good. The thing that I want to talk about now is essentially what we have going on the lower time frames leading into the higher time frames, right? Now, this daily candle close today is going to be really, really important because just like how we set up a potential momentum play last week, we kind of have a momentum play this week too, but it's not as obvious as last week. To give you guys a quick recap as to what I'm talking about. Last week we were looking at a bunch of indicators, and we went through a comprehensive analysis, right? We looked at the sentiment, and we went ahead and looked at the momentum oscillators too. If you guys, it's all timestamped, by the way. Go ahead and watch this. Here, we went and looked at the sentiment, and we identified that, hey, wait a minute, based on what we are seeing on price, the RSI and stochastics, because stochastics was pointing to a high probability bounce, just the stochastics alone, no divergence, nothing. Every time it was coming down to a certain region, we realized that, whoa, this has like a 90% to 100% hit rate in terms of showing a bounce over the past like 6 months, all right, actually more, 8 months. So this was based off the 2-day stochastics, the 1-day stochastics, etc., etc., etc. And then what I did was we identified a level where we said, okay, you know what? If price goes above around 106, right, we are going to see that bullish divergence play to the top of the range. We did see 106 trigger, and then I posted a daily video right after, and I highlighted a target range for you guys, right over here. Now, the trade worked out perfectly. You can see that Bitcoin bounced from the bottom of the range to the top of the range. We didn't get to the top of the box, but that's why we have zones, right? That's why we have boxes, because we don't want to get too perfect, too nitpicky, and I really suggest you guys do this too. Every time you have a target level, draw a zone instead. It psychologically helps your execution. You guys will find as you guys mature as a trader that the technical analysis becomes really easy. It's the execution and the psychology that becomes your enemy. So anything you can do to help your psychology for long-term consistency will help. Yes, it won't be optimal, but in your effort to be optimal, you will lose out on long-term consistency. Believe me, and it's just not worth it. It's just not mango. It is not stress-free. So you're much better off sacrificing being optimal to be able to be consistent in the long term, right? And zones help. Having one thin line as a target does not help at all. It'll drive you mad. So let's get back on track now. We hit our target, and as you guys can see, we are coming in now to put in a potential higher low here, right? Potential higher low. Now, I want you guys to go ahead and open up your sentiment indicator. Last week, I want you guys to think about everything that has happened over the last week. Last week, when I did this live stream, Bitcoin was sitting at around, actually we can just go back here, right? In fact, you know what, let's go back here to the live stream, previous live stream. I'm going to go ahead to the timestamp where we're looking at the crypto fear and greed. Crypto fear and greed was sitting at 55. Okay. Today, it's sitting at 50. But in that interim, guys, please stop spamming. It's because we're just going to end up banning you from the... I'm going to put you on timeout, man. Hide user on the channel. Okay. It's just distracting for me too, and I can't think. It just... So, last week, we had sentiment sitting at 50. This week, or rather, today, we have sentiment sitting at 50. Last week, we had sentiment sitting at 55. So sentiment has actually gotten worse. Okay, I want you guys to think about this. Sentiment has now gotten worse. But in that interim, price literally has bounced from around $102,000 all the way to $110,000, and now has come in to put in a higher low. So we have sentiment lower, but price higher, right? Essentially, we have a higher low on price, but a lower low on, oops, this is not what I want to show. Yeah, we have a lower low on sentiment, okay? Because sentiment was 55 last week. Today, sentiment is 50. But price, on the other hand, has put in a higher low. And that's what I mean by, this time it's a little bit more complicated because it's hard to visualize, right? We don't have proper, I guess we probably do have a sentiment indicator on TradingView as well, but let's just use this for now. We can also see, if you just go on over to the chart over here, that whatever bullishness that we did have on the crypto fear and greed index over the week, during the course of the week, while price was rallying, has been completely reset. But again, price is looking better today than last week. If you go ahead and switch on over to the weekly, you can see that for the past like 1, 2, 3 weeks now, price has been flat, right? You can actually turn on the line indicator, because remember guys, candlesticks, it is a indicator on its own, okay? So when you switch out of the candlesticks to a line indicator, what you're doing is you're removing indicators and thereby removing noise, right? Because people say that, oh, I don't like having too many indicators because it's too much noise. Well, candlesticks are indicators too. Now suddenly, you can see the price has literally been moving flat for the past few weeks, okay? While sentiment is completely getting reset, and we've had a lot of bearish narrative get pushed forward over the past few weeks with the escalation of the war, etc., etc., etc. But Bitcoin has been extremely resilient, and we are seeing divergence between sentiment and price. Price is noise, just facts that, yeah. When pertaining to Bitcoin, price is just noise, but when pertaining to everything else, price is what you have to follow. So that is the setup leading into this, that we have a divergence between sentiment and price. Sentiment is lower today than it was last week, but price is higher today than it was. Price is put in a higher low. Simple. That's how you look at it, right? When you see a lower low on one set of price data, but you see a high low on another set of data, that is a divergence. That is a bullish divergence, right? When you're looking at the higher lows versus lower lows. Now, moving on. We're going to go on over to our weekly analysis. This was just setting the tone for us going over to the actual analysis. We identify the divergence and then we go on to see or check to see whether there's anything actionable and if this is lining up with our overall analysis, because playing divergence on its own can be extremely risky, extremely dangerous. It needs to line up with your overall direction. It needs to line up with your overall analysis. Far too many times I see people identify divergence, whether it be bullish or bearish, and they hang on to it like that is the secret grail, the holy grail, that they are seeing something that everyone else is missing and everyone else should ignore every other signal because this divergence is the only thing that matters. Right? Because divergence sounds cool, it sounds sexy, it sounds so exotic, especially to newer traders, right? But a divergence is just one clue, right? One clue. When you see everything lining up, that's when the trades get juicy, like last week. So we're going to go ahead now and start with our weekly analysis. And with that, I'm going to just give you guys a recap of our cup and handle pattern that we drew out all the way in July. But before that, I'm going to take a sip of water. Any questions? Social divergence, sentiment divergence. Yeah, exactly, Krisha. Hey Shark, how's it going, boy? We are at our target one, okay? Again, for those of you who don't remember, we drew out this cup and handle pattern and put it out on Twitter as well, all the way back in June, or I think a tad bit earlier than that too, when we were trading this entire consolidation. And we had two targets, okay? The higher probability target, of course, being the first target of around 119 all the way down to 100, right? It was more like 99K. So 99K to 119. We drew a zone. Again, always draw a zone, okay? Now, we hit the first target and we've been consolidating around the first target since then, right? So it's been, let's go ahead and measure actually. We hit it around here. It's been 6 months. 6 months of consolidation at our target. Hey, I wonder, wasn't there a community that has been saying discard the entire idea of the 4-year cycle, instead trade 6-month cycles instead? Not because the 4-year cycle is wrong or the 3-year cycle is wrong, but more so because if you want to actually make money, it's far more actionable psychologically through an execution perspective to actually trade in 6-month chunks, because again, it's just been far more profitable to look at Bitcoin that way. And again, we have been after this move, after we saw this impulsive move into our target, we consolidated for 6 months. I wonder. But again, that will only be evident if we continue from here, right? Again, back over here, guys, if you think back, we timed the move almost perfectly when we actually said, okay, it's time now for Bitcoin to, the yellow arrow, by the way, was not us saying that we are definitely going to break out. What we were saying at the time was that, hey, we are identifying a pattern. Somewhere around here, around this juncture was when we got really bullish on Bitcoin actually breaking out, because it needed to break out. The time was near. I think Bitcoin is actually at that juncture again, where the time is really, really near, where we either break out or we break up. It needs to make a move. It needs to make a move very, very soon. So that 6-month duration playing out now is another clue that, hey, one, we have hit our first target after a massive 6-month consolidation. We saw the impulsive move into our first target. Now we're seeing another 6-month consolidation play out. Jesus Christ, I can't believe we've been waiting 6 months. Krisha, you said this too, right? Imagine we were waiting another 6 months. I'm like, I feel like it's going to happen again. And 6 months has passed by, and passed by fast if you keep it mango, keep it easy, keep it stress-free. 6 months, do we see a move to our next target, which is coming in around 220 to around 190? Again, a zone. Now keep in mind, guys, that this chart over here and these targets are based off this cup and handle. Okay? This wasn't our original target criteria, right? people may confuse these targets being the targets for Mango. No, that's not how Mango looks at. Mango doesn't try to call tops. Mango doesn't try to call bottoms. If I was looking only at this cup and handle, this is what I'd be looking at. But this is not the only thing I'm looking at, right? So even when it pertains to targets, you kind of have to like look at them as probabilities, and you want to look for confluence between multiple indicators, multiple clues, multiple methodologies, etc. And then you assign higher probabilities if you see confluence. For example, the first chart that we ever drew out all the way back when Bitcoin was sitting at $16,000, $17,000, and will be all of you who were here with us back then, you guys know that my cyclical target at the time was $120,000. Now, by the way, it seems very obvious that, oh, of course, Bitcoin can get to 120. But back when Bitcoin was sitting at 16K and I was calling for 120, it seemed ridiculous, right? And even then, I had target 1, target 1.5, target 2. That didn't mean I'm taking profits on all these targets. In fact, when we hit somewhere around target 1.5, right? I named it 1.5 because I told the community that I know that we're going to see a lot of resistance over there. It's very likely. I don't say no. I don't know anything. The probability, according to my analysis, was that we see a lot of resistance there, but I'm not going to be taking profits. That's what I'm calling target 1.5, right? The only time where I was a tad bit concerned about Bitcoin's price action was at $44,000. I wanted to see a breakthrough because of the top of the cloud. And over here at 70K, I was like, okay, Bitcoin needs to consolidate. Bitcoin needs to consolidate. And Bitcoin did consolidate. While everyone else got really bearish during this consolidation period, I would have gotten bearish if Bitcoin kept continuing. Same story around here, guys. Bitcoin needed to consolidate. Bitcoin needed to, actually, no, not here, here, on this move here, on this rally here. Bitcoin needed to consolidate. Or I'd be getting nervous at around 120K, 150K, I'd be getting nervous. Now that Bitcoin has consolidated, just like over here, you guys might be saying, where the hell is he going with all of this? Why is he telling us all of this? What I'm trying to say is, over here, when we got there, I wanted Bitcoin to consolidate for me to get bullish and stay, or rather to stay bullish for a longer term target. If Bitcoin had done this instead, I'd be taking a lot of profits. Because Bitcoin did this, I stayed calm for this entire consolidation, right? If instead Bitcoin had not given us this consolidation and instead just gone up in a straight line at the same price point, I would not have held on to my positions as much as I did this time around. I was just like, nope, I'm taking profits. This is getting a tad bit more ridiculous because that's how we played at Mango. We use a combination of trend analysis and equilibrium analysis to be able to judge when we actually stay in the trade. It's just been safer in my experience. Now, Bitcoin did the same thing here through a mini perspective where we bottomed up after the TAV drama, etc. But if Bitcoin had just gone up straight like this, I'd have been like, okay, 120K, 140K, I'm going to start looking to take some profits because I think we could come down deeper, maybe do this, maybe do this, maybe do this, right? I would have been a lot more keen to start saying, okay, it's time to execute the profit-taking strategy plan to the best of my ability. But now that we're putting in a bull flag over here on the weekly, I'm like, okay, cool. This is actually setting up for an actual impulsive move now for the second leg of this move. So you got the first leg, bull flag, second leg, maybe you do a longer consolidation, maybe do this, and then we maybe do that. And we come back to that another time. My point though is we are setting up a structure to get up to the red box over here at around 140K, but the structure is being put up in a way where I would be less likely to want to take higher profits. Does that make sense? So the cyclical target that we had set up at around 16K to 17K is now looking like it could be violated. That doesn't mean that the cyclical target is wrong. In fact, it means just the opposite. It means the target is hit. Just because the target hits doesn't mean that it's the top. Do not confuse target with top, guys. Okay, it's not the same thing. My target could just be my target. Price could keep going after that. That doesn't mean I'm calling for price to reverse over there. Trend traders will never do that. All right, now we can move on to assessing how the trend is looking. Okay. And we have two major cyclical indicators that we're looking at to keep things simple. Two or three, but the two major ones are essentially the Mango bi-weekly, which is a lot more actionable, and the second one is the monthly 10 SMA, which we'll take a look at as well. We'll start off with the base version of the older version of the Mango dynamic without the new zones added. And you guys can see that it's been very, very clean right throughout the cycle. We've just been following Bitcoin, or rather staying in the Bitcoin trade as well, as long as Bitcoin is respecting the bi-weekly dynamic. If we lost the bi-weekly dynamic, we'd have been like, okay, the cycle is under threat. It's time to start hedging positions, taking profits, etc., right? We came close a couple of times, but we stayed the course over here, right? At this period, I remember I had some family stuff going on as well. If you guys do remember, I was doing videos from a hotel room because I had to stay near a hospital, etc., right? And I was like, man, guys, this is so frustrating. I want to get out of this. I want to just rip the bandage off and just get out of this at this point. It's been so long, right? But because we had the Mango dynamic to guide us, I was like, okay, I just got to wait 12 hours. I just got to wait 12 hours before I exit this trade. And the bi-weekly was closing. And what ended up happening was we closed above. But just a tad bit, we closed above. And because of that, I did not have permission to exit. Because of that, I did not have permission to leave and miss out on massive wins that came right after, right? I'm just thinking about the scenario where I did not have something objective to stay my hand, right? Because life hits you sometimes, guys, and you get mentally weak. You're just tired, and you're just like, F it, I can't think about this anymore. I don't want to manage these positions. It's just bad, and I want to de-stress. I want to de-stress. But if you don't have something objective to tell you, okay, no, there's nothing to worry about. You don't have to worry about anything because price is still holding your levels, or you don't have permission to exit because if you want to follow your rules, you cannot exit, right? And that's exactly what happened, right? And I came and posted a video right after saying, guys, unfortunately, we do not have permission to exit. And look at what happened right after. We got this massive bi-weekly candle, massive bounce. And I'm like, damn, thank you. Because I say this often, right? All you need is your rules to reward you just a couple of times. And once they do, you will follow your rules to the T forever. You just need a couple of times to be rewarded for following your rules, guys. So just follow your rules and wait for that big moment, because when it does, it's going to change your life. Not because that one trade is going to change your life. It's because it will give you consistency. You'll always look back to these moments. I always look back to this because holy crap, I would have ended up selling over here at the wick, right? But because I had the Mango dynamic, I was able to, and by the way, it doesn't need to be the Mango dynamic for you guys. It could be anything else, okay? For example, I'm going to go ahead and look at the Ichimoku, and the Ichimoku has been a great indicator for anybody who knows how to use it, of course. It's been my bread and butter ever since I started as a trend trader. It looks complicated, guys, but in my opinion, it's the best all-in-one system that any new trader can use. So I really recommend learning the Ichimoku system. And as long as we're staying in equilibrium over here, right, everything's fine. On the weekly, Bitcoin's looking fine. Looking like, this is looking so good. Structure looking so good. Green cloud, Tenkin over the Kijun, 200 moving average also lining up really, really well with its angle. Like, it's hard. It's really hard to be bearish here, guys. It's really hard to be bearish. This is setting up for like the perfect structure. In fact, if you guys go ahead and take a look at BLX, right? Let's go ahead and do that. I don't think Bitcoin has had as good equilibrium in its history ever. Let's get a cleaner chart. Let's hide everything. What are you looking for? is the Tengen, the Kijun, and the Cloud. Okay, you want to see how close they are to each other along with price. So you want price to be close to the Tengen, but price being above the Tengen. You want to see the Tengen close to the Kijun, but the Tengen above the Kijun, and you want to see the Kijun close to the Cloud, but above the Cloud as well, right? And that's exactly what you're seeing over here, right? Kijun is close to the Cloud, but above the Cloud. Tengen is close to the Kijun, but Tengen is above the Kijun. Price is close to the Tengen, but above the Tengen. And when was the last time we saw something like that? I would say here. Kinda, if even. Like, we haven't seen structure this good on the Tengen. Sorry, on the Ichimoku. In Bitcoin's history. Yeah, like there wasn't enough price action to have a cloud here. Over here, the cloud had just flipped green. So we had the Kumo twist and cloud was actually really, really far away. So over here, I wouldn't say that structure was good, even though it may look like it because we had the Kumo twist. And I would have been worried for price actually getting sucked down somewhere around here. It didn't, which was ultra bullish, but at the time, it wasn't as good structure as it is over here. Do you guys understand what I mean? This is really healthy. Yeah, exactly, Wolvie, exactly. So just looking at this alone, along with the Mango dynamic, along with this cyclical target that is about to be hit and then blown past, because this looks like a bull flag into a cyclical target. I think I'm going to blow past 120, to be honest. Let's see, I could be wrong. If we hit 120 and then see a rejection, that would actually be a little bit of a warning sign. And then on top of that, you have a cup and handle target. The first target to get hit, 6 months consolidation, no rejection. We should be seeing weakness here. The bears are on a clock, and this looks like it wants to blow past and get to our second target of around 190k. Yeah, 190k to 220 again zone. I don't want to sound like a moon boy over here, but the way things are setting up, I wouldn't be surprised for upside pain. I think upside pain is more likely at this juncture than downside pain. Do you think on the bi-weekly chart, can the bears threaten the M-like structure and pump later? So I spoke about this last week. In fact, I should have it right here, right? I spoke about this last week, Sharky, where at the time I said, so we were sitting around here, right? Somewhere around here or here. No, wait, we were here. Anyways, what I said was price could very well come down and threaten the M-like structure. We talked about this exact question last week. But at this point, I wouldn't want to see that, okay? Because of how things have played out, I think it would be far too generous to give an M-like structure to people who were on the sidelines for this move here, okay? Buying this was very important, right? So now again, I could be wrong and biased on that idea, but I think Bitcoin can be extremely generous for those who can set aside narratives and set aside emotions and follow indicators, right? If you follow the indicators, Bitcoin can be extremely generous, and we have been gifted this cycle. Like, you cannot say Bitcoin was not generous. That being said, it does punish people who follow narratives, right? Any narrative that you followed, any fundamental narrative that you followed that got you out of your position, those have been punishing without recourse, right? And I think price coming back down to threaten the M-like structure over here would be those folk being given a gift. So what I talked about last week was, as a trend trader, you're hunting for high low. And what I used at the time was, I'm like, okay, guys, I think personally the 2-day dynamic is where you hunt for that high low, because expecting the bi-weekly to come down and get tested. Let's go look at it, right? I know we're all over the place here. I do apologize. So essentially, we're looking for the 2-day dynamic to get tested as the high low, right? Not because I knew for sure it was going to happen. Of course, I used a bunch of criteria to come to the conclusion, but I'm hunting for the high low based on probability across the spectrum, right? And the high low could have been somewhere around here, or could be even as deep as here, right? In terms of where we are coming off this impulsive move, it could be all the way here and it would still be fine. And it could be here too. But I think, or rather I thought that this would be the appropriate higher low to be bidding because of the various factors that we discussed. But now similarly over here, I think this higher low is going to be maintained by the bulls. And if we do lose this higher low, at that point, I think we could come down to 93. This would be the next higher low that we hunt for, right? So if we are wrong on the 2-day dynamic holding, and we could be wrong, right? The bulls are going to give it up and they're going to try to defend 93-ish, 94-ish, right? If they lose this, then the next level that they have to defend is 87. If price comes down to this region over here, I'd be nervous. And I at that point, honestly, we could bounce and do this, but the bulls will really have to step up. I would be mentally getting prepared for the M to break, right? I'd be mentally getting prepared for the M to break. So I'll be psychologically getting ready to start exiting, etc., if we do break that level. In fact, that likely lines up. Us losing 80K would likely line up with us losing the bi-weekly dynamic 85K. So the bi-weekly dynamic, for those of you who don't have access to the dynamic, note this level down at its current juncture sitting at around 86K. So if you look at the M-like structure on the lower time frames, on the 2-day time frame specifically, it's coming, the neckline of the M on the 2-day is coming at 76K. So us losing that on the 2-day time frame gives us a higher probability of us losing the bi-weekly dynamic too, unless we bottom, unless we do something like this, where we do an M on the 2-day, break down, and then bottom up. That would be super bullish. But holy crap, would that be a bear trap? That would be such a bear trap, right? Because so many people would be like, oh shit, this is it, right? But then we bottom up and reverse. That would be ultra bullish. But this would be ultra bullish too, by the way, guys. Our current juncture would be ultra bullish, where we just don't give people a chance, bull flag here, and in hindsight, when people are doing their TA, right, the next generation of traders that come in next cycle, they'll be looking at the cycle and they'll be saying, wait a minute, all of this was so obvious. How could you not see this? It's a clear bull flag, right? It's a clear bull flag. It's so obvious. By the time, it's not, because everyone is trying to overcomplicate it. I can't put on the spacesuit, man. I gotta be responsible here and cover every other scenario as well for the sake of the community. Okay, so oh yeah, another thing I do want to talk about, for those of you who have access to the Mango Dynamic, you guys also get access to the Mango Equilibrium Tracker, and we do have a really nice setup over here. If you guys go ahead and take a look at the Equilibrium Tracker, you now have your equilibrium bands wrapping around the volatility zone. And last time we had that structure was when Bitcoin was sitting on the bi-weekly dynamic, and we had a really nice bounce. Now it looks like the volatility area is coming into confluence with the bands again. If this lines up with us breaking out, right, of this range that we're sitting at, it means that we're going to go into expansion territory, and we're going to have something like this, right, where we just broke out. So just keep an eye out for that. I don't know whether it's going to play out that way or not. I don't want to get people excited, but keep an eye out for what's going on over here with us being at the top of the range. Anything else on Bitcoin? Actually, we do have a lot to talk about on Bitcoin, but I do want to talk about something on the weekly one last time. If you guys go ahead and use the new feature on the Mango Dynamic, again, for those of you who have the Mango Dynamic, make sure that you guys are using the news feature. It comes with the position zone module. Let me turn on right over here. Position management with the entry and exit, start bidding and end bidding module, right? So some of you guys took this bid over here off the weekly dynamic. I do want to say this though. I do want to emphasize the weekly. If you guys are taking bids off this, it's completely fine. Okay, you're using it to enter your position and build a position, and you're using the weekly as a trend direction signal, is completely fine. But you do not use the weekly as an invalidation for your cyclical trades or even for your trend trades. I've been saying this over and over again for a very long time now, where the weekly is not to be traded in that regard, because you're just going to get chopped out, right? We identified that all the way over here. Okay, remember, we were doing daily videos over here, and the only way I would have respected the weekly was if we actually broke down here, right? If we broke down after putting this bear flag underneath the weekly dynamic, I'd be like, okay, cool, we can start respecting the weekly dynamic for the rest of the cycle. Think about what I'm saying here. If we actually broke down, I'll be respecting it, because that was actual edge, right? But at the time, we were deliberating between using the weekly or the bi-weekly. Julian identified the bi-weekly as holding really, really well at the time. And we were like, okay, it's very early in the cycle. The weekly looks like it's holding as well, because look at this, it was holding, right? How do we play this? So we're using the combination of the ichimoku, etc., to stay in the trade. But this was concerning. If we broke down, I would be like, okay, weekly is something we need to respect. But we did not. In fact, this was a perfect example of a bear trap, right? Now, with the new Mango dynamic, you guys can see that you can actually use it to stay in your trade. It works so well. But we'll come back to that some other time. The weekly reversed, and it's a very, very good example of what we talked about in regards to breaking down, getting all your bear trades in, and then breaking back up, and then just running away, right? So don't use the weekly for your invalidation. You'll constantly get chopped out. Happen over here too, reversed, happen over here too, reversed, and just left people in the dust. Use the bi-weekly. Use the bi-weekly. It's clean, and it has been guiding us really, really well. Now, we're going to go on over to the lower time frames, and we're going to do a simple golden cross, silver cross analysis on Bitcoin. Hey Jason, you're making me blush, buddy. Alrighty, take a sip of water. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to try to get a gauge on how healthy is Bitcoin looking through a trend structure across the mid time frames. Okay, we're not going to look at the higher time frames because I think the Mango dynamic and the Ichimoku indicators are far better at getting a gauge of the trend over there on the mid time frames, especially when things are trending on the higher time frames, right? So on the mid time frames, you're going to see those indicators be noisy, but this can actually be very, very helpful. I'm going to show you guys how to read this. You don't want to be using this as support and resistance. You can, but you'll see that while trading, it does get a little bit, the execution can be a bit frustrating, right? The way I like to look at this is you want to look at these EMAs splay out, right? So you want to see your 21 EMA be above your green be above your purple, and you want to start seeing them like widen. When you see that, right, you're seeing the trend look healthy. You don't want to look at price relative to it. Remember, when I want price to be above these indicators, I will be very, very, very specific about it. For example, with the Ichimoku, with the TK cross setup, what you want to see is price above the Tenkin above the Kijun above the Cloud, and all of them be fairly close to each other, right? Over here, you kind of want to ignore price. You'll see that there's some edge to be had over there, but you want to ignore price, okay? All you're looking at is price moving in the direction of the overall trend of these three bands, the yellow above the green and the green above the purple. By the way, the Mango ribbon, for those of you using the free version of TradingView and have limited amount of indicators that you can put on to your chart, the Mango ribbon is completely free, and we created it to be able to allow you guys to have multiple indicators through one indicator. So it comes with all your EMAs, SMAs, and the Ichimoku settings that Mango uses as well. So if you guys want access to the Mango ribbon, just reach out to AAVE, and AAVE will make sure that you guys get access by the end of the week or maybe even earlier. So we have like a system that we're going to be following now. Just reach out to AAVE, give him your TradingView ID and your email ID, and we will get you guys set up. Okay, so the Mango ribbon has access to, will give you guys all of these EMAs and SMAs that you guys can set up just like this. Now, going back to what I was saying, yellow above the green above the purple, right? But for the golden cross, all you really care about is the green above the purple. It'd be nice to have the yellow above the green. On the 4 hour, what are we seeing? We're seeing the green above the purple. Zoom in for you guys over here. Green is above the purple, but the yellow is not above the green just yet, right? It's not all that important on the 4 hour, but what this is telling us is that, okay, the trend, the golden cross trend is good, but we don't have the momentum trend just yet with the yellow above the green. Okay, so structurally, this is still fine. Momentum, not there yet. But with this 4 hour candle closing in 33 minutes, the 21 EMA is going to start moving aggressively towards the upside. And if this trend continues, you're going to see something like this over here, where the 21 EMA starts shooting above the green, and then we start seeing a big move to the upside. Then, if we take out the highs over here, you're going to have the perfect setup of a breakout of some kind of weird inverted head and shoulders, with this giving us that splay that I was talking about. Yellow above the green, green above the purple, and the purple starts angling aggressively to the upside as well. Because if you guys look at your slope analysis, look at your purple over here, this angle versus this angle, right? You can see how things slow down. But now you can see that this alone is a bull flag, right? You have a bull flag right here on your purple EMA, right? And this breaking out on its own is your EMA bull flag as well on the 4 hour time frame. Again, I don't want to get into the weeds of all of this, but looking good here, setting up really, really well. Now we're going to move on to the 12 hour time frame. Let's see what we have going on over here. Come on, trading view, load, load, load. Over here, we do have the setup, right? Yellow above the green, green above the purple. Things are looking really good. And we have some good distance between the green and the purple too. So there's a bit of we had, or rather before this 12 hour candle, there was a bit of trouble that you could say could play out over here, right? Because you had this bear flag that could have broken down and tested this 200 EMA. However, I think the market's saying, hey, you fooled me once, shame on me, fool me twice. No, wait, I always get that wrong. Fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, right? Because we had the bear flag here, it just faked people out, did not meet the target, and reversed. That's what I mean by there could be noise on this, using this for price action. You want to use this for trend analysis, right? Again, everything's fine. Purple above the green, green above the yellow, everything's fine over here. And now it seems like this bear flag is being negated as well. In fact, I think we just got a official negation of it. Yeah, no longer bear flag. Could be, I don't want to get, again, I don't want to complicate it for you guys, but just look at the trend structure. It's fine. Daily. Oh, what the hell's going on here? I'm going to remove all drawings. Yellow above green, golden cross intact, and the yellow is above the green as well. And what about the 2 day? 2 days looking fine. Now, you kind of don't want to go past the daily when pertaining to this. You want to use things like your ichimoku and your Mango Dynamic would be the cleanest of them all. But what we can do, actually no, that's exactly what we're going to do. What we are going to do is now switch on over to the 2 day and switch on over to the ichimoku at this point. And what are we seeing over here? This is actually really good, because what you'd want to see, right, when you see the Tenkin start shooting up like this, right, you want to see price follow it. You don't want to see the Tenkin move up like this and price go sideways, because then the Tenkin turns into resistance and starts applying downward pressure on price. And at that point, you'd be looking towards the Kijun getting tested at 93K. 93K gets tested. We talked about that on the 2 day dynamic analysis, where he said the M-like formation. Suddenly, things don't look all that good. Seeing the 200 moving average get tested at 81K, breaking the cloud, that would be a big, you can see how that could cascade. You could have a cascading move towards the downside. We don't want to see that, right? And we talked about how the bi-weekly dynamic is coming around 83K, 84K, which lines up with what? The bottom of the cloud over here. So we lose this 2 day cloud here. It's not going to be a good sign at all. Cycle could be coming to an end at that point. So I'm not getting bearish here. Things are looking fantastic. I'm just telling you how things could cascade, right? I just call it as I see it. Things are looking good here. But if we do start coming down to threaten those levels, don't ignore it. I like this. Let's go. There's nothing there. There's no momentum analysis to be had, but here it's looking good. Let's go look at the 3 day. 3 day Ichimoku looking fantastic. TK cross, green cloud, double TK cross above the cloud. This is really, really good. The 3-day cloud looks freaking fantastic. Bullish TK cross, bearish TK cross, bullish TK cross, bullish TK cross, and everything is in equilibrium. Let's go ahead. Wow, this is actually looking really good. We don't use the 3-day much though. The 4-day, oof, here we had your TK cross, really good. So you had your bearish TK cross here into a, this was the setup. Do you guys remember this? This was the setup. I did a daily video where I talked about this. We got the 4-day double bullish TK cross above the cloud while everything was in equilibrium. I did a special video on this and we marked out the zone right over here. It also lined up with that 6-month consolidation period that we talked about. Got the impulsive move. Things are just in equilibrium. We don't have the bearish cross to get the double TK cross, so things are just in equilibrium here. It's really hard to be bearish, guys. Really hard to be bearish. Now, the final thing over here is Bitcoin just hit 107 now. I hope you guys are paying attention. There's nothing on the daily really to talk about. We can move on to ETH. I want to talk about ETH. ETH is looking good. I want to take a break though first. I'm checking my Instagram. I got all these hot girls messaging me. Don't tell Krisha though. Krisha's in the chat. Krisha, what are your thoughts on ETH? I have like, look at that, ETH BTC. Look at that. ETH on the weekly, guys. It's really hard to ignore this kind of price action considering what every other coin has been doing. ETH has been showing some really good relative strength. ETH BTC weekly dynamic resistance. We're looking at ETH, like, it's looking like a bull flag, but you know, if we see a weekly candle close above this level here at around 0.02632, so like let's say this week ETH BTC can close above these two highs here. I think we could make our way all the way up to 0.04. That'd be a good trade. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Mango dynamic like what we suggested. Yeah, that is damn perfect resistance right over there, but if we clear it, we could make a quick move and then come back down to chop around it. What's the bi-weekly saying? Let's focus on ETH USD at the moment. I think I'm looking at ETH BTC. It's just going to be noise for most people because Bitcoin is, you don't want to look at ETH unless you're allocating Bitcoin, of course, right? If you're allocating fresh cash into ETH and you're looking at it through a portfolio allocation perspective, then ETH BTC should not matter at this juncture, in my opinion, because you've already made your, okay, let me make this clear to you guys, okay? For those of you who are getting confused. Based on Bitcoin dominance, right, which is moving straight up in a straight line, you have already made a decision as to your allocation, right? Which, according to Mango rules, should be 90% Bitcoin and 10% alts, okay? So this is already set. Now this 10%, right, that you're putting in alts, you're making a decision on that regardless of Bitcoin, because you're not allocating from Bitcoin into your alts. Now, if you were taking out of your Bitcoin and putting into alts, then you want to look at ETH BTC. At this juncture, at our current juncture, right, you're just trying to make a decision as to what is the strongest altcoin that I could allocate to. That's all. Keep it simple, guys. Okay, what is strongest? Your Bitcoin allocation is set. It's done. Okay. If you start min-maxing for Bitcoin, you'll end up at this juncture, because of Bitcoin dominance, 99%, 99.5% Bitcoin, right? Which is still fine. You still more than likely outperform at this juncture. But the issue with that is that when alts pump, right? When they do pump, they pump massively, right? They pump like 200, 300% against Bitcoin. And then you're just like, oh my God, it's so hard to enter. In my mind, this 10% allocation towards alts helps mitigate that psychological execution process. Is that a question? Okay. Helps mitigate that psychological execution process where you're like, okay, I have no alts at all, and I got to chase these high Bitcoin prices now because you're max Bitcoin. When you have 10% and that 10% pumps 200%, etc., they move, and it becomes easier to buy those high lows. So this 10% will grow to 20% if your alts pump hard enough, right? So you don't want to get caught in that min-maxing thing. Now, I know Wolvie's already adept at this. I don't have to, I'm not trying to lecture him. It's for those of you who might be getting confused onto what I'm trying to talk about when I'm saying, hey, listen, don't look at ETH BTC. But at the same time, I'm saying, hey, Bitcoin dominance is what matters. This is what I mean. We've been following a very, very simple strategy throughout the cycle where we said, as long as Bitcoin dominance is in an uptrend, we will be in altcoins, yes, but only 10%, right? Very, very simple. Bitcoin dominance on the monthly is in a straight uptrend. We're not going to get cute. Let every other community out there try to be smart, try to be geniuses. We are not trying to be any of that. We are just trying to make money. And this has worked very, very well. So that's it. I'm not going to be smart here. With that being said, should I be allocating towards ETH compared to other altcoins? And if you do look at ETH compared to other altcoins, it has been recently one of the stronger ones on the ETH USD chart. In fact, even on the ETH Bitcoin chart, it's comparatively better. Now, if ETH BTC is showing that this week we could see a candle close above those highs, that could lead to 0.04, and now ETH USD is putting in a bull flag, consolidating above the weekly Mango dynamic. So now we have an interesting interplay over here, right? ETH BTC is underneath the Mango dynamic, consolidating, and ETH USD is above the Mango dynamic, consolidating, and pretty much the same structure, same wicks too. So this is really interesting. I do like this. I actually do like this. Playing off the 2-day dynamic over here. You know, let's go look at the dashboard. Like, we haven't looked at the dashboard at all today. By the way, for those of you who don't know about the dashboard, you can find it at app.mangoresearch.co. There's a free version and a premium version, and you can get access to the premium version for free by referring your friends to the premium version, right? There's a referral link in your accounts section. So make an account and go shill the Mango dashboard to all your friends and get like 10 years of free Mango dashboard. You're looking for ETH. Go filter it out. ETH USD, ETH BTC. Let's see what's going on here. Long on the weekly, long on the 4-day, long on the 2-day. This is looking really, really good. Neutral on the daily. Short on the 12-hour. You guys know exactly how to read this. You could be seeing a bull flag. That's exactly what you just saw, right? Bull flag show up on your higher time frames with the 12-hour putting the downtrend onto the higher time frame support. That's exactly what we just saw. Because this is what you guys can read this as the green being your bull flag, right? The pole. And this consolidation area of neutral, short, neutral is your flag. Because that's exactly, guys, what a bull flag is, right? Let's go ahead and draw that out. All right. Man, I can never get used to this tool. How do I bring that back up? No? There. Right? So the bull flag is your long, 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 long. And sorry, the pole is your long, 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 long. And the flag area is a consolidation downtrend, right? It's either consolidating downwards or sometimes it consolidates sideways, where you will have long on your higher time frames, right? Which is essentially long on your higher time frames here, your pole. And then over here on your lower time frames, you'll see neutral, neutral, neutral. So that structure on the Mango dashboard would have long, 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 neutral, 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 and that's your flat bull flag. When you see long, 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 neutral, short, neutral, that's essentially a downwards bull flag. You could also see something like this, by the way. right? Where you have long, 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 long. In that condition, you're likely going to see the Mango dashboard be long across all time frames. Does that make sense? Hey, Julian, how's it going? You guys should clip this out, by the way, and put it into the Mango dashboard tutorial section thingy. Okay, so with that in mind, ETH is looking really good. I'm playing it off the 2-day dynamic. Okay, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to see if ETH is giving us the ability to buy, or rather permission to buy. That's what the new Mango dynamic helps you with, right? Helps you with your execution. And there you go. You got option to buy here, 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 here. So for those of you who aren't aware of this new feature, essentially the start bidding and the end bidding zone is not to be used as invalidation. It is to be used to help your execution process to get into your trade and maybe even exit your trade. You can go ahead and flip to short over here, inputs. Now you guys have the newer version of this that I've updated for you guys. I'm using the older version. Switch to selling, right? And it'll flip your conditions to end selling, start selling. But since we are long, right, we're going to go ahead and switch it back to buying. And what this is saying is that, okay, listen, as long as you are within the zone or at the zone, right, you're allowed to buy. You're allowed to start scaling into your position. That way you're not psychologically stressed when these kind of things happen, where you come down to your level, but not really, right? So over here, over here, over here, you would have had permission to buy. Similarly, if it comes all the way down to the bottom of this end bidding zone, you're not worried. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Should I stop buying? Should I be worried? No, your price is allowed to come down there as long as it closes above the Mango dynamic. Because remember, the Mango dynamic is still your invalidation level. So if you come down here and close, let's say, right above the end bidding zone, but underneath the Mango dynamic, doesn't matter. You exit the trade. Okay. Similarly, some people struggle with, okay, price is dipping. Should I just keep buying? No, you end over here. Period. You end over here. Hard rule. This indicator exists to draw a periphery around the psychological decisions that you have to make. Right? That gets exhausting. So has been a massive game changer for me. I used to do this manually. Now it's automated, and I'm actually finding edge around this. Okay, ETH is looking good. I actually really like it. On the dashboard, it's looking fantastic too. Anything else I want to talk about? Oh, right. We want to talk about SPX and then SUI, and then I'm going to go on over to the altcoin requests. Hey, Manjiro, how's it going, buddy? Long time. Oof. Yeah, so I'm just going to give you guys an update on my SPX trade and how I managed my position, or rather lack there. I don't say lack thereof. Let me step back. We've been in the SPX trade. We built the position here. So here was pretty obvious play. Over here was less obvious because it was one of our favorite plays where we essentially have this structure. It's kind of like a flat along with a diagonal, and you look to build your position just between the flat and the diagonal, right? So in this green triangle over here that I highlighted, I posted this on the seed chat if you guys are interested in the Mango seed program to really learn how to trade, invest, and manage your wealth for the rest of your life, because the seed program literally changed the way you look at life, especially with the most recent seed clubhouse sessions. Those sessions have been so freaking good. By the way, if you guys are on the seed program, make sure to watch the most recent seed clubhouse session recorded under seed exclusive content. Please watch it because suddenly if you guys keep like pushing it off, right, what's going to happen is you're going to have like a bunch of content that will pile up and you may not get to it, and the most recent session is pretty important. So yeah, the seed program you can find at themangoway.com/seed. Now I posted this setup over there. We added to our position over here. Now this is where it got a little bit tricky for me at the very least. You guys can trade this the way you guys want to. The next good time to have added was a similar setup right over here. Now I didn't want to because we added so close to price, where price was. And more importantly, it was weekly resistance, right over here. So what I told myself was, I'm going to wait for this zone to be cleared, this weekly resistance zone to be cleared over here. And if I get a high low this week, after we clear the weekly zone, I'll bid the high low. Unfortunately, the way price has played out is that we did not clear the weekly zone. And now I have a feeling the price is going to run this week, right? This happens. And what do I do in these kind of scenarios? I do nothing. I just have to I'll just wait. There'll come a time where I'll see a good trade opportunity on this one, or rather add opportunity on this one. It's not here. So I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to be, I like adding at least 3 times in a strong trade, right? At least 3 times, right? So I got 1, I got 2. Okay, when I say add, I'm talking about like, for me, it's essentially 3 positions. So it's like literally, and so if you guys may take one trade on SPX, another one on Hype, and another one on name a coin, SUI, right? So you'll add 2%, 3% on each one of those trades, and you'll have 2%, 2%, 2%, 6% risk, right? I'll essentially build my risk on this one trade. I'll go like 2%, 2%, 2%, 6%, or I'll go 3%, 3%, 3%, 9%. So that's one big trade that builds up, and like strong trends end up being that much bigger for me. So the struggle over here, and some of you might be thinking at this point, why is this guy going on about all of this shit? Like, just tell me what your targets are, Sean. Tell me what my coins are doing. Tell me what AVAX is doing. Tell me what Hype is doing. I don't care about this. But then there's another bunch of you are thinking, holy shit, this is information so valuable, because this is exactly what I struggled with. Even though I get the TA right, I get the zones right, I get the targets right, I can never execute right. Because this shit matters more than anything else. Anyways, go back to what I was saying. I'll just wait. I knew this was going to happen too, because it closed the daily above the zone. And I was like, should I bid this? I did not. Now the weekly did not close above the zone. And I feel like it's going to run. Yeah, SUI's been challenging mentally for me, not market related, busy with family. Yeah, I totally get it, man. I totally get it. Like, we talked about this just before. We talked about Bitcoin during that September region. I had some family stuff during this region over here that it gets taxing, man. You just want to rip the bandage off. You don't want to deal with the markets, right? So we all go through that. We all go through it. Totally understand. I'm just glad you're here today, man. Oh, I'm always so happy to see you. You've been with us for years now. All right. Some people have been asking me how to trade meme coins, or how to trade SPX 6900 in general, or just other meme coins, right? Now, Krish has done a great video on Femex's MemeX portal, which is apparently really useful for those of you who don't want to deal with the stress of on-chain, right? Because on-chain things could go wrong. You could lose your keys. You could get phished. Some people have gotten really damaged by phishers that managed to get access to their keys. What Femex is essentially a exchange where you are dealing, you get the security of it being Femex while getting to trade on-chain through Femex, right? So Krish has done a great video that explains everything. I really recommend checking out. The title of the video is how to buy meme coins before they explode using DeFi MemeX Femex, right? And here's a quick preview of what their MemeX portal looks like. And now this is really interesting, okay? They have themes, they have trending coins, and you can set up a watch list, etc. But the reason I wanted to bring this up to you guys is because you guys are going to see, like, some of these coins, like for example, XBT up 60%. Like, this is just what is this? USD, UC, I don't even know what this is. These numbers over here, guys, don't let these things lure you into their trades, right? Look at the market cap. Like, these market caps, what's FO? 610 million? That's not bad, actually. This market cap isn't bad here, but it's not up that much, right? But like, for example, 60%. This This market cap is 2.23 million. Like, there's no liquidity on these things. So be careful, okay? If we are going to use this, don't let the percent gains lure you into bad trades, is what I'm trying to say. I like to trade coins that are high on liquidity and high on market cap. People want the complete opposite of that. And that's understandable because you think that you have more to gain, but understand that you have way more to risk, and there's way more rug risk as well. The lower the M cap, the higher the chance, the probability of the rug being pulled from under your feet, right? Coins like SPX 6900, Dogecoin, you'll see the bigger traders trade these coins. Why? Because there's high liquidity, very low chance, there's more distribution, more decentralization of these coins across multiple wallets. There's not a few wallets that hold all the coins and just can rug you, etc., dump on you. These coins have higher MCAP, yes, and they won't move like crazy percents yet, but we can put on much higher position sizes on these coins, right? I will not, like, if I'm buying a low cap 10 million coin, something like that, my position size is so tiny where it's not even worth managing sometimes, right? Unless you get like a huge win. And then I'm thinking, like, what's the point? Why even bother? I'd rather put on huge size, like I kind of explained to you over here, on a coin that has high MCAP. You don't want to go too high either, but you don't want to go too low either, right? So this kind of fits it. But at that point, honestly, I'd trade Doge as well with huge size if the chart is looking good. If the chart's looking good, I can put on huge size as long as there's liquidity. So, and huge size is relative. Huge size for me and huge size for you, whatever is huge for you is just still huge, right? So huge is relative to you, okay? It doesn't change how you trade it. For example, Michael Saylor, what's huge to Michael Saylor? None of us would ever consider that huge, right? Because he trades so tiny, right? Krisha says, no, I'm really tired. Krisha says, guys, my spidey senses are telling me now is the time to lock in. It is now. I do agree. Yeah, but going back to what we were talking about in regards to FEMX, the MEMX portal seems like a very, very, very good way to stay centralized, but also have access to on-chain, right? You'll find a link to the FEMX bonus that you get through Mango in the description. And yeah, femex.com, the mango.com/femex should work as well. Alrighty, now what else? Now we can move on to the request, but before we do that, I do want to take a quick break. I'll be back in like 30 seconds. I want to like turn off the slide for a second, man. Holy crap. All right, I'm back. I did take a quick look at all my altcoins, and Jesus Christ, things are pumping, eh? Holy crap. Is it time to start buying Rolexes and Lambos again, guys? Looks like it might be time. You know? Let's go take a look at Bitcoin dominance. You just want attention. You gotta be up in a couple of hours, but here for the hopium. Oh man. All right, let's go to. Okay, I'm gonna do XRP. Sorry, XRP. Bi-weekly dashboard. So, like I've been saying for a while now, XRP is to be traded on the bi-weekly. I just don't like this. I'm sorry, guys. I don't like this. This is, by the way, showing the trend only up to the weekly time frame, and it proves my point, right? I've been saying this for like months now that XRP should be traded on the bi-weekly time frame because you get chopped out on every other time frame. This kind of proves it, because if you look at the bi-weekly on XRP, it's holding the bi-weekly trend. Now, here's the thing. If it wasn't for the rest of the market or the coins that I'm looking at being so bullish, I'd be looking at this and saying that I am going to stay disciplined on my trade because it's the bi-weekly dynamic still holding, but I'll also get mentally ready. But I think the opposite should be the case at the moment, where you should be getting mentally ready for this picture to flip around, because we have 6 days and 17 hours for this bi-weekly close. If this bi-weekly close is green, suddenly this picture that's looking at tad bit rupee, this color of this candle turning green alone will turn this into an ascending triangle kind of structure, where suddenly a breakout of this ascending is us not only going to all-time highs but blowing past it, right? Because you're going to have a structure that looks like this: bull flag, down, and a bull flag here, which breaks up like that. It's not drawing well over here because of the high time frame, but I have this, right? So essentially what it's going to look like is, when you see it, Bitcoin has kind of done something like this: bull flag, instead of breaking up, it breaks down and does this, and then you have a structure that does this, right? So I think XRP is setting up for that, right? And it's doing so on the bi-weekly time frame over here. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the horizontals. Let's see though. You want this bi-weekly to close green. You need one bi-weekly to close green to build that confidence. At the moment, the dashboard is telling you do not trade this on the low time frames. You will get chopped out. Okay, you want to have spot XRP, not leveraged XRP. I see that as a very good sign. You're talking about XRP, will we? Keep XRP simple. The next one I want to talk about is SUI. You guys know my thoughts on SUI as well. Same story. As soon as SUI lost the 2-day dynamic, I was out of the trade. Right, and there you go. It's just been chopping around it. Remember when we claimed it back? I was like, you guys can trade this if you want to. I will not be doing it. And that's exactly what played out. It did not respect it. This is like, it has nothing to do with whether I like SUI or not. It's just pure TA and my experience. In the Mango Dynamic tutorial videos, there's literally a section that discusses exactly this, where once you see a trend get violated, you start consolidating around the Mango Dynamic, right? And that's an edge you can use. Like if you're trading options, for example, you could trade that, right? You can trade consolidation, make money on sideways markets. But there was no trend. Just because reclaimed the 2-day, it could have reversed, but the probability was lower. This is being traded again on the bi-weekly. Once you lose a lower time frame trend, 2 days lower time frame compared to the bi-weekly. Look towards the higher time frame to see whether that could be respected. And it looks like we could be respecting this, which is great for the longer term movements of SUI, because you see some big bi-weekly candles now, kind of like this one here, right? This huge candle, this one, you can see a huge one. So SUI too, you want to trade this on the bi-weekly, not on the lower time frames. But let's go ahead and take a look at what the dashboard's saying. Maybe the dashboard disagrees with me. No, it doesn't. The 4-day is the only trend that is showing long over here. That's impressive. The weekly is short. Everything else is short and neutral. So no. Moving on over to hype. Hype. This is what you want to see. Long in the 2-day, long in the daily, long in the 12-hour, long in the 4-hour. Hype is looking hyped. Holy. I'm pretty sure the dashboard, sorry, the charts are going to say the same story. Hype USDT. Holy. Will we caught, man, this is one of the more painful charts for me to look at, because when we did have this downtrend over here, I told myself to get into position somewhere around this level, right? 13, yeah. God damn it. Supposed to get in over here. And I just did not get in. And I know this is going to go to $100 just to spite me. Just to spite me. This is going to go to $100. Like, I identified the break of this trend and everything. You know, what pains me is that I've been following this since here. Since here, right? Did not trade it, but you can see I drew a target down for this to break down and hit my target for around 18, all the way back when it was at 26 in Feb. And then I was like, okay, cool. I'll just wait for this to keep trending down, because you had a break over here as well. I just watched it go down, down, up. I just never got in. Oh well, hindsight's 2020. No, hindsight's not 2020. This isn't one of those coins in hindsight. I was following it. I had it on my list when I looked at price in the mornings too. I found it through the dashboard, says Wolverine. It was moving well while the other alts were short. By the way, for those of you who don't know the power of the dashboard and how to use that particular feature, go ahead and watch the tutorials. It's very, very simple. Like, all you have to do is just look at the colors, right? And then filter all the coins that are long, coins that are short. You can also filter coins that are doing well only against Bitcoin. Like, it is the dashboard. I wish I had it when I was trading back in 2018, 2019. This thing is far too cheap for the value it gives you guys. It is ridiculously powerful. Just to be able to take away that anxiety of trying to find the winners. All you guys need to do is not get married to your particular coins, right? Because you guys will be using a dashboard only for your coin. Don't do it that way. Do it to figure out whether you should be allocating as much attention and capital to your coin for that period, right? If, for example, Hype is the only coin doing well and Cardano is not doing all that well for that time period, you can allocate your resources to Hype to collect more Cardano for the long term. Because I totally get it. You guys are long-term believers of Cardano, XRP, Sol, etc. Collect more of that coin over the long term, but trade and don't miss out the opportunity of the coins that are doing well in the short term, right? Hype, for example, can help you collect far more Cardano. Okay, next coin on the list was Cardano. Let's go look at Cardano on the dashboard. What's it saying? And just like XRP, this is what I'm talking about. It doesn't have anything. This does not mean that your coin is fundamentally bad. It just means that right now you're missing out on opportunity elsewhere, and you don't be doing that. Not in a bull market. Okay, you're going to look back at this bull market and be like, how did I miss it? How did I catch nothing? So yeah, do you guys even want to look at Cardano? Cardano, just like how I've been saying XRP should be followed on the bi-weekly, I've been saying Cardano should be followed on the monthly. By the way, Hype is looking fantastic. This wants to go to $100 just to spike me. And it's going to go even higher after that. It's going to drive me insane. Cardano should be followed on monthly. There you go. Monthly support on huge cup and handle play. So yeah, cool. or whatever, call what you want. Monthly dynamic support over here. You don't want to be losing 61 cents. I like how the new feature caught the top and bottom of the range, eh? Because you'd be bidding all of this with the new Mango dynamic feature. Again, you guys can find the Mango dynamic at themangoway.com/dynamic. But you guys would have been bidding, caught this. Or the way you can do it, right, is say, okay, you know what? I'm going to divide my bid zones into 3. I'll buy once over here, buy once in the middle, and buy once at the bottom. That's one way to do it, right? Keep it simple. So Cardano, just wait for the monthly to close above 69 cents. Then you'll have a target of 88 cents. And then after that, I'll be looking for $1. Once we break past $1, I'll be looking towards all-time highs at $3. So the first thing you want Cardano to do, though, is clear 70 cents, 69 cents, but you don't want it losing 62 on the monthly time frame, monthly close. Okay, next is AAVE. This is a coin that I am in. I've been building a position on this one for a while, actually. A long-term position. So AAVE looking good. This is your perfect bull flag. You guys can see the kind of coins I like to trade. We talked about this in 20 minutes ago, half an hour ago, I don't know. This is your pole, and this is your flag, right? So AAVE looking really good on the dashboard. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chart. Jesus Christ, my eyes are burning. Monthly, held the monthly dynamic, bounced off it. Let's look at the bi-weekly. Bi-weekly looking good too now. If you can close above here, I'll be really happy with that. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly looking fantastic. Have a bull flag break over here. I wonder if this wick is across different exchanges. Really interesting. So we have now officially, by the way, another way that people have been using this new feature on the Mango Dynamic is to essentially use the start bidding zone as a breakout zone. This has been working well on Bitcoin as well. So let's see if this can see continuation. I think this could go all the way up to 336 next. And if you do clear that, sky's the limit, man. 557 next target if you can clear around 380 to 390. Let's go look at the Ichimoku too. Yeah, looking good. I want to see the tanking cross the Kijun though. It's not there yet on the weekly. All right, let's go look at AVAX while my eyes struggle with this light. You said you wanted hopium with this one, right? I'm going to try, man. I'm going to try. Let's see what the chart's saying. Broke down here. Nah, man. If this one does well, it's going to be purely because of the bull market. It's not because it's going to be because people are looking for something to bid and they just bid it, right? Look at the monthly. The monthly is looking so bad. Like the monthly is looking bad. Maybe this may be something I'm not seeing, but let me show you guys what I'm seeing. Lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low. The monthly is in a little downtrend. Now, what you could look at is, hey, this is some bull flag. Okay, and then you have a pole with a bear flag here too. I mean, when it comes to structure, this is as bad as it gets. The bull market will save this if we do have a bull market. Maybe I'm wrong on that because these coins are making me wonder. Jesus Christ, man. This is really bad. I want to go check my bars on ADA now. Like, I want to check my bars. Like, no, ADA doesn't make, see? See, this is, I guess you could. No, it's not the same, man. I'm trying to check my bias on ADA here. But ADA is not the same. Structurally, ADA still looks fine. Yeah, we're seeing a few winners. Wolfie. Okay. The reason, guys, why I suggest all the seedlings to really watch the most recent Seed Clubhouse session is because I had a long spiel, rant, speech, call it what you will, on how to look at altcoins, a framework on how to look at altcoins. It's really important for you guys to watch that. I just went off, like, I don't, like, not in a bad way or negative way. What I mean by, it's sort of like, you know, just listen to it. That's what I love about the seed sessions. I can just speak my mind and not care. Oh, you've not watched it? It will be, yeah. I'll put timestamps for all of it. So I did one on altcoins, and then at the end of the seed session, I had a session on the macro and fundamentals as well. So both of those are really important to watch, in my opinion. In fact, should we put it out for as a clip it out and put it in the premium video section? One of them at least. Yeah, I think for this one we may. Okay, I think we can wrap up here. Cylinder Anderson says that ADA is going to run with XRP. AVAX has no catalyst right now. Sol took the glory. Sol took everyone's glory, right? Let's go back to AVAX. So AVAX is an L1, right? And they have I remember looking into their fundamentals back in the day. I forget. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I think XRP, when it does run, all of the major coins going to run together, right? Kind of like what you said. ADA will run with it. AVAX may run with it too, to be honest. We may see a huge monthly candle on AVAX, kind of like this one. So I wouldn't rule that out, but that doesn't mean that I'd be super gung-ho to buy it right now in expectation of that, because why not just buy XRP, right? Why not buy Cardano? Like, when you're looking at your alternatives, you'll be buying a combination of something that has the strongest narrative, strongest mindshare, and the strongest chart. I don't think AVAX has the strongest mindshare. It does not have the strongest chart. But when it pertains to narrative, I don't know. Maybe it does have a narrative that is formulating that I don't know about, right? Meanwhile, let's go. SPX 69 is at $1.69. Any final requests before I wrap up? I'll take one last coin. Bitcoin. We don't have the golden cross on the 1 hour yet. PENDLE. Yeah, it's looking like a good spot to hunt for a high low. I'm not convinced though. I'm not convinced. We don't have it here. Yeah? Yeah, like there aren't too many coins. AAVE is looking good. BCH, eh? USDT. PAX G, of course. Maker. BCH. Kusha ends up being right, eh? Of course, second page. I don't often need to go to second page. Yeah, let's go take a look at BCH. Dashboard says BCH. Oh, it did break out of the range. Good daily candle close, yeah. Cloud is green too. Tenkin Kijun in equilibrium, yeah. Not bad. This looks like it wants to start trending. Kumo break on the 2-day as well, so. All right. Yeah, keep an eye on BCH too, guys. Not bad, not bad. All right, with that, I'm going to wrap up. I'm exhausted. I hope you guys have a great week ahead of you. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Until the next one, keep it mango, keep it easy, keep it stress-free. By the way, the winners for the Bitunix giveaway will be announced on Kusha stream. They have already been selected, right, today. And the winners will be announced. And if you guys want to qualify for the next, let me go ahead and actually pull it up for you guys. There should be a link in the description below that will take you to this link over here. There's a 1,000 USD giveaway along with I believe the $400 additional bonus that you get for depositing up to, so basically if you deposit 2,000 or 1,000, you get another $400 in deposit bonus, and then you also qualify for the $1,000 giveaway. I think that ends today. The $1,000 giveaway is not ending today, but the $400 additional does end today, so take advantage of that. It says here 15 June. Yeah, so I think it ends today. Try luck. But the $1,000 giveaway, either way, we're going to be doing another one. So last live streams, $1,000 giveaway winners have already been picked. Kusha will be announcing them. And this live stream too, you guys get to qualify for the $1,000 giveaway. All you need to do is hit the like button and use the link in the description below. Make sure to use the link, because if you guys don't use the link, you won't qualify for the giveaway, right? So some people miss it that way. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep it mango, keep it easy, keep it stress free. Ciao.